I hope you're having a great day. Today I want to talk about nutrient-dense meals. See, there are a ton of fad diets out there and trends, and whatever you do, whatever you follow, be careful. But remember one thing. Every meal that you eat, you have one goal. How do you make it nutrient-dense? What do we mean by nutrient-dense? The more nutrition, the more real, natural, whole nutrients that are present in your food. There are many ways that your body will benefit. Number one, it'll keep you feeling full for a longer period of time. Number two, trillions of cells in your body, all of your vital organs get what they need for survival, for repair, for prevention, to keep inflammation low, to modulate your immune system. All of this comes from nutrients in the food that you eat and oxygen from the air that you breathe. So how? Every meal I look at, I'm constantly thinking of how can I make this meal nutrient dense? And there's one thing you realize, as you start to make, sometimes if I make my breakfast, which is usually much later in the day, because I don't feel hungry in the morning, if I make it nutrient dense, I don't feel hungry at lunchtime. So I can get away with a portion of maybe salad and some protein on the side. If my lunch is nutrient dense, the next time I'm eating is at 6:30, which is my dinner. So if your meals are nutrient dense, you're not going to have the requirement to snack in between the day. Nutrient dense meals will also play a huge role with your blood pressure, your cardiovascular health, and even your diabetes. Because nutrient dense meals will have the right amount of fiber. Insoluble, soluble, not too much, not too little. Because too much of fiber can also be detrimental to your gut health and your overall health, and your digestive system as well. And too little fiber can also cause problems. So today we're going to talk about the power of dried herbs. Dried herbs, fresh herbs, doesn't matter. We're talking about oregano. We're talking about thyme. We're talking about rosemary. We're talking about basil. We're talking about parsley. We're talking about coriander. In the fresh form or the dried form. The beauty is the science shows you that you retain nutrients. Even in dried herbs, the nutritional value is powerful. Now, what do all these dried herbs have in common? Very, very rich in trace minerals, which play a huge role in cellular health, your heart, your brain, your vital organs like your kidney, your liver, and polyphenols. Polyphenols can further be broken down into anti-inflammatories, antioxidants. So these are like power foods. I don't like using the word superfood because the moment you label something a superfood, someone's going to make that product more expensive or that produce more expensive. But the point is, how do I do this? You get dried herbs wherever you live in the world. You find them bottled, preferably buy the ones in bottles and not in plastic. And if they're organic or chemical free, even better. And they're easy to store. Depending on the country that you stay in, if it's too humid, you can store them in the fridge. Follow the instructions in the bottle. You can also use fresh. The easiest thing to grow at home, whether you live in a small apartment or you have a large apartment or a villa with a garden, it doesn't matter. You can grow herbs in little pots and you just sprinkle them in your food. Even a tablespoon in a day added between 2 or 3 different meals can boost up your nutritional value of your food. So like, for example, this is what I like doing with my scrambled eggs in the morning. Sometimes they're boring, just plain scrambled eggs. Of late, I add a little bit of paprika, add a little bit of parsley. I just have the bottles ready and I sprinkle them on. It adds taste and it adds and increases the nutrient density factor of my meal. If you're a non-vegetarian, you can marinate your meats with these herbs. A lot of these herbs like rosemary can even tenderize the meats. And they add all of the value. If you're a vegetarian, you can add it to your paneer, to your vegetables, to your dals, to your legumes. There are so many foods that herbs will add value to. In India, it's a concept that we use coriander. We add coriander to our dals, to a lot of our foods, and it's super, super powerful. Coriander is also used to make chutneys, along with mint and different herbs, powerhouses of nutrition. So the point is, whenever we look at a meal, how can I make it better? How can I make it better? Now, if you're addicted to fast food pizzas, and you see the oregano bottle in the restaurant and you say, hey, by adding oregano to my pizza, it's going to be better for me. Maybe a little bit, but you should still stay away from junk food and all of the processed foods around you as much as you can. So now you get creative. There are so many ways. I know people who add dried herbs to their vegetable juices every morning. To their beetroot, carrot juices, you add a little bit of dried parsley, a little bit of dried oregano. It tastes amazing. To your soups, you can add it to your soups. But The point is simplicity matters. Simplicity is the new luxury. You know, sometimes we're so caught up in the complication of diets and foods, we miss the little things. So you can have 4 or 5 of these bottles placed in the middle of your table, and whenever you have your meal in front of you, if it's appropriate, mix them, add them. You like the taste, enjoy them. But that's how you make food nutrient dense. We've learned this in 9 years because sometimes when we handle diseases like cancer or certain patients who have severe gut issues and their appetites are very low, but at the same time they need to maintain weight and put on muscle, but they don't have the appetite. So then we work on a smaller meal, but we make it nutrient dense. So even if they can eat just 3 or 4 tablespoons of that food, they are getting nutrient dense food. So I can play around with dried herbs. I can play around with my macros, like my good fats, whether it's pure ghee or it's a cold pressed coconut oil or it's an avocado oil or whatever it is, the good fats. I can make that nutrient dense. I can make my salad nutrient dense by adding pumpkin seeds, toasted sesame seeds, adding almonds, adding walnuts. So I'm taking a little meal and I'm making it nutrient dense. So a lot of people say a salad's not a meal. Of course you can make it into a meal. Usually at lunchtime, that's what my meal is. It's a salad and it's got protein, a lot of protein in it. It's got nuts, it's got seeds, it's got everything. It's a nutrient dense meal. If you're okay with carbs, you can add a handful of quinoa to it. You can have a handful of rice to it if you want, if it suits your body type and your health goals. But you can even make a salad nutrient dense. I know people who are making soups nutrient dense. So imagine I'm doing a mixed vegetable soup for dinner. It's got 4 or 5 different veggies in it. I can also add seeds to it. Have you added seeds to soup? It tastes amazing. I can add protein to it. I can add pieces of chicken to it, pieces of beef to it. If I'm non-vegetarian, I can add pieces of cottage cheese to it, and I can have a nutrient-dense meal. It's up to you. The point is, how do you make every meal nutrient-dense? And I can guarantee you, when you learn to do this, your snacking will reduce, your cravings will reduce, your portion sizes will reduce because you tend to get fuller. But what? One is the fiber, one is the protein, and one are the good fats, along with all of these dried herbs. If you figure out creative ways to do it, these are the benefits that you're going to get. Simple little things. Dried herbs are not expensive. They'll last for a long time if you store it the right way, or like I said, you can grow them. And there is really no difference between fresh and dried. In fact, a lot of science shows us today that dried herbs hold on more nutrition than the fresh ones. So you see, little things like this can add a lot of variety, even to your kids. As they start to grow up, you know, a lot of them may be fussy about vegetables and all of that. Start by adding dried herbs. It tastes good. It doesn't look like vegetable in their plate. It's still getting nutrition into their bodies. Have a great day, everyone. Until next time, eat smart, move more, sleep right, breathe deep, and remember, you care is all about you.